I'm not even going to bother with an intro. You already know the gig. I'm going to yap for a bit. So let's get through this. I know I just did that on purpose there, and that's because I need to mention something. I will not always try to do stop motion for everything. I will do it for scenes that I feel are doable. Big scenes I'll try, but if they're too long, too stunt risky, and more or less involves stands, which I don't have, I will not do. Another update, I am canceling a video that I was planning where I dig up a dig kit on the video with a T-Rex skeleton inside because I find it quite boring that you would probably have to watch me for 3 or so hours dig up a bone just to wait even longer for another bone and then repeat the process until we get this full skeleton out. So, no, I'm not doing that because I don't want you all to suffer, unlike me. But what I will do is what I'm planning to do today. You see, this is going to be part 2 of our documentary series, the next documentary. So this documentary will be covering will be exploring the idea of fossil formations. In case if you are uncultured and do not know what paleontology's most significant thing to locate fossils are, then allow me to educate you for a moment because we ain't got all night. Yes, I'm recording this at 9 p.m. again, on a Wednesday nonetheless. A fossil formation is when, really long ago, a completely different ecosystem was there. And things died, and their fossils were left behind, leaving areas to show that they existed in that particular location. Find enough fossils and you've uncovered an entire ancient ecosystem, also known as fossil formations, where a certain amount of dinosaurs with certain species will be found there, or certain species in general. This is irrelevant to you, but irrelevant to me because I have prehistoric creatures that have very significant lore. Because you see, my characters existed for billions upon eons of years before Dagon waddled along and gave them all intelligence. So long ago, before Dagon did all the intelligence shenanigans, back when Dagon was a little kid and the Great Elder was in charge, everything was a lot more wild, per se. Now, since I wanted to do something fossil related or properly prehistoric related to the documentary series, we will uncover what some, not all, but some of the ancient formations in the Hollow Earth. This will cover the location of the fossil formation and the creatures that lived within it. Directly after this, I'm either going to make a proper documentary again, covering two characters in one because they're really easy, I guess. And that would be my night done. So let's waste no further ado, people. Let's move on. Wait. Ba ba ba. Ah, ba 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 ba. I almost forgot to say something. I figured out something very magnificent. Which one was it? This one. I can change the temperature of the light now. We can either make it this or this. Do the right mix in between. And we get blue light. I prefer white because it is brighter. But for darker scenes that are meant to be dark, I do this in combination with the lower light. So you can still see the characters, but not actually like properly see everything. Anyways, now on to the formations. Now, a thing I'm going to cover before I do the formations, each of them will be different, house different creatures. Some of them will be close, some of them will be far away from each other. Now let's continue. Okay, the first formation we'll be covering are two that are really close to each other, thanks to sharing a similar species. This would be the Riverside Formation, also known as the Delta River on the Delta River Formation in the northwest side of the Hollow Earth, and the Greater Taiga Formation in the more northern part of the Hollow Earth. Let's start with the Riverside biome, or the Great Delta Formation. The first species on our list is a scavenger casually sighted over the riverbeds, feeding on fish and average life forms. This would be the mighty Geosternbergia, or his sentient version, Geo. The Geosternbergia is a very ancient, a very unique species in the Hollow Earth, being specifically piscivores and will refuse to eat anything else. Which means if they run out of fish, they die. And they will not eat meat, fruits, vegetables, insects, whatever. They will exclusively eat fish. This is bad competition, especially with another nearby river basin, nearly piscivore-specific hunter. That being the Irritator, or his sentient version, Draco. Now, Draco is something. Being the son of a famous character known as Old Man Barry, he is also a quite old chap. A very ancient species nonetheless. Now, the reason why I say he's not exclusively piscivore is because sometimes, if a Geosternbergia flies too low, they will feed on the unsuspecting river bird, grabbing it by the throat or legs, bringing it to the ground, and getting a free meal. That's what we call a predator-prey relationship. Geosternbergias are able to get back by pecking at their foreheads and eating their eggs. But that's really it. Geosternbergias, the only other thing the Geosternbergias are able to eat to begin with are eggs. So might as well go for the enemy of your own kind to eat the eggs. Like, does that make sense? Like, to prevent more young from spreading so you don't die out. Now we go to the other creatures. This is Postosuchus, also known as, in his sentient form, as Hunter. Hunter is a Postosuchus, which, if I am not mistaken, is a type of crocodilomorph subspecies from the Pseudosuchian lineage. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong. But for the Hollow Earth variant, he is a riverside basin creature. Well, river delta creature. Due to him mainly thriving on fish and small animals that wander too far away from the safety of the water's edge at times. Now, there's only 4 more creatures in here, so I'm going to cover the last apex predator. The 3 apex predators would be Irritator, Posta, and the Concavenator, being the Hollow Earth variant, similar to Path of Titans Concavenator, is a very mid semi-aquatic. Not the best, not the worst, but it's definitely something. It's able to fend for itself in the water and on land, and being a small Carcharodontosaurid, it does have the ability to bleed out its prey, but usually prefers smaller, easier to take down targets. Stygimoloch. This little guy has 2 locations. This darker coloration is for the swamp and river delta formations, which are really close together, but not having enough unique species to classify as different formations fully. That would actually be the taiga biome that would fall into that category. And finally, another one would be Gojirosaurus as a mid-sized predator. Look, I know this is a Mexicasaur, but Gojirosaurus seems more fitting because most of my creatures are humongous. So what not better than the biggest Triassic dinosaur that I know has been declassified as a Coelophysis, but still Gojirosaurus is fun. So yeah, Gojirosaurus is the biggest creature out of all the mid-sized carnivores of the entirety of the Hollow Earth. Being a river delta creature, it has adaptabilities to swim, sharp teeth for catching fish or in defending itself, and a mildly aggressive nature due to not that many dangerous opponents. You guys might remember a similar cast member of my show being the species, the Pachycephalosaurus. The sentient variant, which is a completely different variant than this one, which actually went extinct, is the Taiga Pachycephalosaurus, which would be over there, called Patchy, is the only surviving sentient Pachycephalosaurus. The other subspecies of Pachycephalosaurus would be the River Delta Pachy, which had webbed toes, bigger size, and much stronger arms to allow them to swim just in case they get caught in the water. This species went extinct when the river basin dried up due to terraforming after Dagon took control of the Hollow Earth and gave the creature sentience. Bonus note, the next documentary, which features 2 characters, will be Phoenix and Draco in the same documentary, because these 2, at the beginning of my channel, had a fierce rivalry, and I want to build on that, which is also another reason why I feature them here. The next documentary after that would probably be about Slasher or Buckshot. They will both be around the same time, but they will be completely separate documentaries. Speaking of that, we arrived to their formation. The Great Taiga Plains, which features not a lot of creatures, but enough to classify as a separate formation. The first would be the Taiga Pyroraptor, which has fully went extinct, no longer existing with us in the present of the Hollow Earth, due to mild deforestation, and 100% lack of food due to overhunting and other prey items going extinct in the taiga biome, one of them literally only existing one member today. Out of all the taiga creatures, only 3 of them out of this entire formation survived to the present day of the Hollow Earth. Unfortunately for this guy, he was not one of them. The taiga Pyroraptor. But thankfully, there is another species of Pyroraptor that made it to the present day, which we'll cover later. And will also have his own documentary. Next, in this formation, I'm going to cover all the ones that did not make it to present day first, like the taiga Stygimoloch. The taiga Stygimoloch was a very rare and exclusive species to begin with. It was very specialized, only eating the taiga moss that existed on the great taiga trees of the Hollow Earth. Having a flat, chisel-like teeth inside of its mouth. Its body did not change from the normal Stygimoloch and the wetland Stygimoloch or the river delta Stygimoloch either. The only thing that changed was its skin color for camouflage and its teeth. And because it specialized a bit too much into a certain diet, it died off, as the moss went extinct due to unknown causes. Next would be a small, elusive creature that is no longer with us due to overhunting of its kind. Well, it no longer exists in the wild. There's very, very small populations in agricultural means in the Hollow Earth, specifically Mr. Dime's Adaphilus delights. And another, and I'm pretty sure it was either, it was that one. And Old Man Barry's Great Buffet Restaurant. Yes, Old Man Barry owns his own restaurant because why not? Also because since he fishes, he catches a lot of fish, so I feel like he has to get rid of them somehow. Just makes sense to put them on a buffet and sell them to millions. This being Azeldipteryx. It has no modern-day animal relatives, and its ancestors were surface world tiny synapsids, like, I don't remember which one because there's like 50 lizard-like synapsids. But let's just say one of them made it to the Hollow Earth, specialized into becoming more bigger, bulkier, and a bit more delicious according to the people who tasted its flesh. And thus, 2 people capitalized off of this. Mr. Dime, which we'll cover in a later formation, his ancestors. Of course, he'll also have his own documentary because he is amazing, alongside Old Man Barry. And of course, over yonder, Old Man Barry, which you can see right there. That Baryonyx right there next to the T-Rex. Yeah, that guy right there. That's Old Man Barry. He has a big sushi and I was thinking it was like sushi and it was sushi and dinner buffet. It's only open around the afternoons. You have the options of normal dinner meals, desserts, and of course, a lot of sushi or fish related options. Adaposaurus or Xiphaldactylus or whatever I call this thing. I'm just gonna call it. Its official species name is Xivactalaphus. Xivactadelphus. I'm pretty sure you could see, and the last recorded specimen of the Xiphactactylus being in the wild, of course, was sadly enough during Junior's babysitting video, where the last wild one was killed by a taiga pyroraptor as a last-ditch effort to survive on hunger. Both of these species being the last of their kind at the time. And coincidentally, directly after the pyroraptor, the taiga pyroraptor killed the Adaposaurus or whatever, Rexy came in and snapped its neck to try and get a prey of one of the few remaining wild Postosuchuses from the nearby wetland biome, who occasionally venture into this biome for occasional sustenance, officially marking the end of those two species in a single instant, both going extinct exactly a couple seconds different from each other, which is both sad and worrying for Hollow Earth specialized species at the same time, because the taiga pyroraptor was not able to migrate for long distances, while the other pyroraptor is. This is going to be a really long video because documentaries are also really long. Just a heads up for those who somehow watched this far and haven't noticed the time. Next would be the taiga Pachycephalosaurus, which is functionally extinct. There is no other living specimens of a Pachycephalosaurus female in the wild, and the only male that exists is Patchy, who has gained sentience. He has been through a lot of rough times and just prefers to be alone, so if there even was a female, he probably wouldn't even mate with it, which either way would have marked the end for their species once they all die of old age, because Patchy ain't gonna live long knowing the speculative life expectancy of a Pachycephalosaurus. I'm not sure if the camera shifted there. I just saw the recording numbers being on its side. Yeah, like the... Oh, God. No. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that does not shift your perspective of the camera a bit. If it does, I am sorry. I did not know until now. Anyways, that is the Pachycephalosaurus. Well, the taiga Pachycephalosaurus, also known as Patchy, done in this. I will also do a documentary on him. You already know the main cast will definitely get documentaries. The final species that... Now, the only other species that is not extinct in the wild, besides these other two, would be the Hollow Earth taiga Miragaya. The only reason why they didn't go extinct was because they're a generalist. Instead of eating plants that are very limited in the taiga biome due to the trees being ridiculously tall, and the only plants you'll probably get are ferns, cycad, the occasional cycad, and the taiga moss, which is extinct due to unknown causes. So Miragaya in our world evolved and became a generalist similar to that of a grizzly bear. where they literally will eat everything as long as it goes into their damn gullet. From meat, small lizards, fruits, nuts, grass, eggs, leaves, litter, and even occasionally fecal matter if they are desperate enough. If you don't know what fecal matter is, I am not explaining it. Now, the biggest herbivore in the biome, before we get to the apex, which is survived to this day and gains sentience, Slasher's species, the Therizinosaurus. This is the only species that is able to utilize the taiga trees as a food resource due to their decent long necks and sharp claws to strip the tree bark and push down trees. Because of this, they are partially specialized, but not too specialized since this works with all trees, which allows them to survive and spread to other biomes as Dagon connected all the riverways and biomes via portals, bridges, and pathways. So all creatures, sentient or not, could go through them and spread. Only the fittest surviving, except for the ones that Dagon takes a liking to, makes them live a bit longer than normal and gives them sentience to enjoy their life to the fullest before they die of old age. Therizinosaurus being one of them, even though they are perfectly fine surviving in the wild and are actually thriving thanks to the new pathways and stuff. Slasher was a wild Therizinosaurus that managed to give Dagon his first scar, which is why he took fondness of him. So, what did he do? He gave him sentience and put him in a city. Now, the apex predator of the taiga would be the Allosaurus. The sentient version being Buckshot, who managed to actually humble Dagon's son, Phoenix, in a one-on-one, where he almost killed him until Dagon pulled him away. He gave this extra skilled fighter of a Allosaurus intelligence and allowed him to be in the city. He took a fondness of his fighting skills specifically. He was also quite the unique specimen, being the only subspecies of his kind to have those patternings and spikes on his back. That's it for the taiga biome. Now we move on to a very biome-specific species category. This is the upper Mount, I'm pretty sure the lower plains. Yeah, also known as the Grand Field Formation, which has a few species specifically adapted to running or taking a very, very hard hit and still somehow surviving. Now, let's cover these species, because we're starting to drag this a bit on for a bit. This is Dimetrodon, the first species of the Grand Plains Formation. The sentient species for this one is Mr. Dime, a famous member of our series and YouTube channel for hosting Mr. Dime's delicious barbecues and hosting the famous Mr. Dime's dinner service, along with Mr. Dime's brunch extravaganza, and of course Mr. Dime's restaurant that I mentioned earlier. Those are all the food-related things that Mr. Dime did, due to him basically being the Gordon Ramsay of our universe. So, yeah, I know, he's very picky with food. it's fucking raw type of thing, you know? The Zuniceratops, or the Grand Plains Hollow Earth Zuniceratops, is a subspecies of Zuniceratops that is specifically adapted for better respiratory systems and longer running. Their bloodstreams are hyperfixated towards the upper back and lungs in order to help it breathe faster and support a running formation for longer periods of time, especially due to the apex predator of this biome being a literal hellspawn able to run for thousands upon thousands of miles without getting tired an inch. So yeah, no, this thing is basically a nightmare to deal with. Anyways, the next species is the Ragirosaurus. This is Roger, the Ragirosaurus. That's his sentient version, but the Hollow Earth subspecies is the Ragirosaurus of the Grand Plains, or the Grand Plains Ragirosaurus, being known for its exceptional respiratory system and a battering ram strategy, where when they chase their prey, instead of biting to weaken its running, which lowers their speed, they charge full force and ram them. Like just straight up headbutt and kick them and absolutely slam their head into them to the point where they just collapse due to the sheer amount of bone breaking inside of their body after getting beat up so much. That's this entire hunting strategy. Break their bones until they can't move. That's it. So, next species is another species known for running and most famous on movie screens. The Velociraptor. Although the Hollow Earth Velociraptor does not come from the Hollow Earth itself, actually. These raptors came through a portal connecting the Jurassic Park universe to ours, allowing these raptors to slip through, along with a couple other specimens that bred with the paleoaccurate ones, causing mutations, hybrids, and slightly inaccurate creatures, but still kinda accurate. This is Tom, also known as an Isla raptor in the Hollow Earth. They have adapted to becoming the Grand Plains Sornaraptor. Instead of relying on ambush, they now rely on their speed alone, along with tricks and any form of intelligence that tricks their opponents slightly into a small sense of comfort in order to allow them to sneakily get up close enough to chase them. The next species is specified for the long grass areas of the Hollow Earth. The Hollow Earth Gorgonopsid, the sentient version being known as Gorgon, and he's a very persistent hunter, chasing after prey for long distances, taking them down with a deadly bite in one move, thrashing, clawing, and paws that are claws, whatever you call them, able to punch a hole into your body if you are small enough. Yet, even with all of this, he is not the apex predator. That title would belong to the one prehistoric species adapted for amazing respiratory, the Maiat metryphorax, who has specified even more into that in the Hollow Earth variants. Yes, I said variants. There's two variants. The Greater Plains one, and this one, known as the Upper Plains MAP, or whatever. Which are more adapted for running, climbing, slashing, and anything that involves their hands and arms. You remember this guy from around the end of Junior's adoption video. I mean, not adoption video. What the fuck? No, babysitting video. Why am I so stupid at times? Yeah, Junior's babysitting video, and in the video where I make my own hybrid to participate in the hybrid war going on YouTube right now. Speaking of which, I'm not sure how to submit them to Goji Center to allow them to see the hybrid or whatever if they need to. Please help. I want to send him to war. My beast is ready. Anyways, the Hollow Earth Maya Metriforax is a force to be reckoned with. If he was able to escape to all the other biomes, which he definitely could, he would destroy the entire ecosystem for all of them except for one. That being the one we will mention after this. But there's one final creature that even the Great Mape has a struggle to take down. That being a rare species called the Nigeriasaurus. The Nigeriasaurus. I am not going to say that name anymore because of it sounding a bit close to another word that I am not able to say because of how racist it is. Also because I don't want to get banned, and also I am not racist. I do not... What? Well, great. Yeah, though, this dinosaur's name sounds like an inappropriate curse word that I cannot say due to obvious reasons. Very obvious. And it's very hard to say this guy's name without me getting slightly confused, and I get confused very easily. So I just refer to him as Mimbilu, which is a cryptid. But for all those who are curious, he is a Nigeriasaurus. And that is, again, the last time I'm going to say it due to its similarities to a certain curse word that is extremely racist to say. And I will never say that word for obvious reasons, especially in the Holy Grail of 2025, where everything is hopefully at peace at this point. The fact that I even have to say all of this just shows how bad the word is on its own. And I swear, like, a random 5-year-old is going to find this and say, "Oh, are you talking about that word?" And say it out loud in front of their parents as they proceed to make them shut up and go in the corner. And I do not want that to happen. Please do not say that word at home. Whatever. I can't even say it on you. I can't, regardless if it's on YouTube or not. Again, because of obvious reasons is obvious. I'm starting to regret using this dinosaur in the video, seriously, just because of how similar its name is to just saying the cuss word and add Saurus after it. Because that's how close the spelling is. Yes, the spelling. I'm not talking about the name itself. No, Nigeriasaurus does sound close,
but its spelling is spelled even closer because it doesn't even have the A for Nigeria. I'm actually saying this like this so it doesn't sound even closer like it. And this is another reason why I refer to this guy as Mimbilu, Mimbilu, Mimbilu than the normal animal. Because I am not going to be racist today, you stupid fucking dinosaur. You stupid, horrible dinosaur. Why would they give you such a horrible name that sounds so much like a damn cuss word? You stupid motherfucker. Anyways, besides that, the Mimbilu in the Hollow Earth ecosystem of the Grand Plains is a very gentle giant. It is a small titanosaurid species that has survived here due to its sheer mass and power alone. That is it for the Grand Plains species category, and I'm going to keep this on to give you all a mental break after that last one, because geez Louise, that was a nightmare to even speak about just because of the name. Oh god, I need a mental break as well before I move on to the next group of characters. So enjoy the silence while it lasts. Okay, the silence is over. We're moving on to the next category because, geez Louise, I need a break from that character. I barely use him just because of that. Anyways, next on to the last and final biome that we shall cover in the formations category today. That is the one that could rival the Great Plains in deadliness alone. That is the upper mountains of the Hollow Earth. We'll cover the not so dangerous species and work our way up to dangerous sea. The least dangerous species is the Megalania. I'm not even joking. The Megalania is a deadly creature with a venom that is able to paralyze you. The Hollow Earth variant can do three things with its venom all at once. Makes you bleed out, have paralysis, and a seizure, all at the same time. So it's like a triple threat. You have a seizure, you bleed out more because you're moving, and then afterwards you can't move because you're paralyzed, allowing this bastard to eat you. The reason why I say it's the second deadliest is because of the existence of Dracorex. The Hollow Earth Dracorex is an absolute madman and is actually still alive as a species today, although not sentient. Because Dagon found out when he made one of them sentient, they are so gosh darn aggressive when it comes to anything that looks slightly like a threat. I am not joking. If they see a Megalania, they will jump on its head and bash the bottom of their neck until it is nothing but a bloody pulp or the animal is decapitated. Other predators, smaller predators avoid confrontation with a Dracorex. The only ones taking a chance are the bigger ones due to them being able to easily overpower such a aggressive foe very easily. and that is the Hollow Earth Dracorex for the Upper Mountains Formation, or the Grand Mountain Formation. The next deadliest creature, the second least deadly other creature, would be the Pyroraptor. It's more deadly than the Dracorex because it will actively go out of its way to end your life, whilst the Dracorex just does it if you get too close. This guy, if he senses you at all, will actively go out of his way to beat your ass and eat you alive or dead, depending on which one happens to you first. Well, which one weakens you first. And it's on the same par with the mountain's Atrociraptor. Yeah, there's 3 different species of raptor on this mountain. Atroci, Pyro, and Utah, which we'll cover later. The Pyro and Atrociraptor fill up the spots for the formation's middle tier predator, the mesopredators, as they call them on the food chain. The Megalania is preferably a scavenger, which is why he's the least deadliest. He'd rather have beef with the eat the dead because he don't want beef with the living, especially in this habitat. Next up would be Diabloceratops for the other deadly creature. The sentient form of the creatures I mentioned would be Pyro, Ghost, Megalon, Megalos. Actually, Megalon's a kaiju. And El Macho, because it's a Mexican dinosaur, so I thought the name was fitting. El Macho actually owns a taco stand with his children known as the Three Amigos, and currently has another broken horn problem, which is another reason why he's here, because I am pissed that he keeps on breaking his horn, to the point where I'm making it canonical, where his species is just casually losing horns every once in a while. Another species adapted to the mountains of the Hollow Earth, specifically because of its strength alone, would be Hank's species, known as the Ankylosaurus. The Hollow Earth Ankylosaurus is very powerful and strong. A mixture of Paleoaccurate and Jurassic World variant makes it 10 times stronger than both, especially due to the increased size, due to the lack of gravity down in the Hollow Earth, which allows them to actually survive such dangerous falls if they accidentally tumble off the mountain. Oh yeah, and the sentient species version of the Ankylosaurus is the one and only Hank, which appeared in a couple videos before in the past. Now we have 2 apex predators, one that's very obvious and one that you might not know about. Let's start with the obvious one, the Utahraptor. Due to the Utahraptor's high intelligence, mountain adaptability, and overall jack-of-all-traits type of mentality, it is the perfect creature to exist on the mountains. So thus it is the apex predator of this biome. But there is another apex predator known as the Dryptosaurus here, rivaling the Utah in size, lacking in intelligence, but definitely powerful enough. Both of them have a sentient version, this one being Arctic Claw, and for this guy it's Drypto, the Dryptosaurus. Both of these guys are apex predators respectively for obvious reasons. Now, let us go to the outro. Well, that was something. Managed to somehow make this video almost an hour long. You probably didn't enjoy all of the video, especially the Membilu part, especially due to its actual species name. I did not make up that name. I am being dead serious with you. That is an actual animal that exists. The Nigeriasaurus. Look it up. It's absolutely horrendous that it sounds so close to the naughty word that I am not allowed to say. Again, obvious reasons are obvious. And this is why that dinosaur specifically is my least favorite, despite it looking so adorable. Adorably weird, like a pug. It's fugly for you know how pugs are like fugly. That's how I look at the Nigeriasaurus. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's somewhere, I guess, but it's not gonna go in the top faves because it, one, does not have a cool name, and two, its name sounds way too close to something else. Anyways, that is all for this video. Bye-bye. Swoosh!